stream. I am coming to you live from Marella Voyager. I'm in my Oceanview cabin, lovely cabin here, and we are in Valencia. So that's very, very exciting. I know this is a bit of a different time, but thank you very much if you have managed to join me. I wanted time when we would be docked to go live just so the internet is a bit more stable. So fingers crossed this works. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. I hope you can. So I've been on this cruise for 6 days now. We disembark tomorrow. It has been lovely. It's very, very warm. I don't normally cruise. We're in the Med in the peak of summer. It is hot. I saw one sign today that said it was 38 degrees, which is so hot. But it is lovely. It is really, really nice. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you can start it with question in capital letters, I will do my best to answer as many as I can. Jonathan says, hello to the Rolo over your shoulder. Yep, we have Rolo there, keeping watch. Of course he is. You are more zoomed in on my face than normal. I hope that's okay. But I decided it would be better to make it as low definition as possible, but have it work rather than like you occasionally see me in HD. Like, I don't think you need to do that. So hopefully it's okay being close to my face. Looks and sounds great. Fantastic. Fantastic. You are propped up on a lamp. So you are vibrating slightly. I hope that's okay. I hope that doesn't make you feel sick. Joe says, what was the final count of the Rolo orders? I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it was around 1,400, which is crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see, of course, until they get delivered. Some, you know, might get returned or refunded or something, but then we have the set number and we can donate the money to the charity, which would be fabulous, fabulous. What is your favorite Marella ship? Are we okay booking Discovery 2? Yes, the ships are very similar. So there's 2 ships that are ex-Royal Caribbean. That's the Discovery and Discovery 2. Then there's Explorer, Explorer 2, and Voyager. I had never been on this ship before, so this is my first time on this ship. And this is my favorite now. Previously, it would have been Discovery or Discovery 2, I think. There's not a lot in it. They're all sort of the same size. They're all sort of the same age. But this is my favorite now. So I did go down to the booking desk on this cruise, and I have booked another cruise on this ship. So that's exciting. When can we expect to receive Rolo? Good question. So they start making them now. They're already making them as soon as they get all the orders in. And it normally takes sort of 6 to 8 weeks for them to be made. So I think October is the plan. Every time we've ever done this, they have come earlier, but I think it's better if we say that, and then, you know, you're pleasantly surprised rather than them being late. So they all have to be made, which is crazy. I can't imagine all of them together at the same time. Karen says, thinking of doing a Marella cruise, concerned about how busy they are during peak times. How have you found it to be? So this is my first Marella cruise that is in school holidays. It is the peak of summer. I don't think this cruise, like, there's any Marella cruise that could be busier than this one. This is the most peak that there is, and it's really not been too busy at all. Like, we've never not been able to get a seat in the buffet. We've never not been able to get a seat in a lounge when we want to. I think the thing is about Marella is they don't really do discounts for the 3rd and 4th person. So this cabin does hold 4. You can see the bed there, right? There and there. But they don't really do discounts like MSC, P&O. They do sometimes 3rd person, £99, £49, that kind of thing. They don't do that. So I don't think it's full, but it's not like every bed is taken because there's 2 spare beds here. So compared to, I have done summer holiday cruises with P&O, with Royal Caribbean, they're much busier than this one. In my opinion, of my 8 Marella cruises, it's not as extremely different. So I wouldn't let it put you off. Oh, love Marella Voyager. Johnny and Will, nice to see you. What is your favorite food venue on board? It is going to be the Mexican, I think. So I'm going to go there again because it was really nice, but it is included. There's a lot of included food on here. So the main dining room is split into 3 sections. There's like the standard section, there is the Italian section, and then there is a British section. Very British ship, British section. And then there's also a British specialty restaurant, which I went to yesterday, which was fun. But yeah, I think the Mexican's my favorite. There's also a pizza place you can go to. There's the Snack Shack. The buffet, I think, is one of my favorite cruise ship buffets. What makes Voyager your preferred Marella ship? I think it's a combination of things. It's The buffet, I really like the buffet. It's a food court style, served to you, 8 sections, I think, but like they do a really good roast dinner. They do a good, Indian section, roast dinner section, sweet section, so much ice cream. We've never really, definitely never been hungry. I've never been hungry on any Marella ship though, but I think it's much better than the normal buffet setup. So that's probably the thing that pushes me. I also just like the design of this ship. I like the flow of it. So yeah, everything, I suppose. But, I'd be happy to cruise on any other one as well. Like, they're all good. Now that Virgin are more established cruise line, will you be reviewing them again? I would like to, yeah. Never say never. There's just so many things I want to do, so many places I want to go. Joe says, how many Pepsi Maxes have you drunk on board? They actually don't have Pepsi Max on here. It's interesting the way it works on Marella because it's an all-inclusive cruise line, so it includes drinks, and the included drink is Pepsi. It's Pepsi Zero, I think. It's not Pepsi Max. But it includes Pepsi, and then if you want cans of Coke, then you can pay extra for them, which I think is quite funny that they think Pepsi is worth less than Coke, because to me, that's better. So I've had some Pepsi Zero, not as much as I normally do. I'm actually drinking water on this cruise a bit more than normal, so it's very, very hot. Yeah, but it's been good. I do have the premium package on here. I don't think I'd get it again, because now I have realized that they do have the Pepsi in every single bar. So that's what I actually prefer. So, Also, it's only, if you do want a can of Coke, it's £1.50, which is not, I've been on some cruises with like Celebrity, it's $4 or $5 for a can. So everything on here is cheaper, generally. Higher start price normally because it's inclusive, but the things on here, the excursions, the specialty restaurants, tend to be cheaper. Interesting comments in here. Thank you so much to the moderators. It's so funny for me to see things and then things disappear, but thank you very much for looking after the comments. Appreciate it. Hello to Carol, who's in Florida. My goodness, I don't know how you guys in Florida deal with that heat, because I was wandering around for a few hours here today and it's so hot, it's so sweaty, but I suppose you're used to it, I suppose. Yes. Have you seen the video of Icon of the Seas, a big hole in the water slide? I haven't watched it yet. I have been sent it, but I haven't watched it, so I'll catch up with that later. Yeah. Oh, Chris says, genuinely never thought I'd be interested in cruises. However, watching your videos definitely can say I'd be willing to give it a try. I do meet a lot of people on here who say that, who say, I never thought I was a cruise person, but every person I've met on here is like, I don't want to get off. Like, I want to stay on for another week. Marella are quoting £165 per person for a premium package for 2026. I can't do the maths on that, but considering that some cruise lines could charge you £185 per day for the most extreme package, I think it's pretty good. But yeah, it's not worth it for me. I don't really drink enough to like want the premium cocktails. I'm fine with I don't care what type of vodka it is. Like, can't tell you the difference anyway. Does Marella only operate within Europe? I'm in the US. No, so they're pretty much in either the Med or the Canary Islands and in the Caribbean. That's where they are. That's where they stay. They don't cruise out of the UK anymore. They don't do any sort of Baltic cruises anymore. I did take a 2-week Baltic cruise with Marella, which was very good. But yeah, that's it now. It's Canary Islands, Med, Caribbean, pretty much. Let me know if there's any others, but that's pretty much what it is, pretty much. How do you find working at sea? Any ship or lines that are better or worse? Marella's a really interesting one. It's different from all the other cruise lines because you buy the internet by the megabyte, which is I haven't done that in a long time. And when it works, using it works great. It's just, obviously I use a lot of internet. I'm a very internet heavy person. So when I'm in port, like now, I'm just using my phone. It doesn't cost me to browse in Europe to roam. So that's what I do, and it's fine. There's plenty of kind of quiet places on here where I can work without people, around, which is good. And yeah, I think it does depend on the destination, the Wi-Fi quality as well, though. So here is fine. Today is not great because we are docked. We're in Valencia, but we're 4 kilometers, I think, from town. So it's just shipping containers, and I guess there's not a lot of phone masts here. But generally, the Med is fine. If you're somewhere like, Iceland or Svalbard, or you're in the fjords where there really is like things in the way of the signal, makes sense. But it's not as simple as like Celebrity Cruises, good internet, Royal Caribbean bad. Like, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, internet by the megabyte is 2000s. It kind of is, but also it's kind of nice because on a lot of cruise lines, you have to buy internet. If you want it, you have to buy it for every single day of the cruise. Whereas on this cruise, you can just buy like a chunk of internet. And then if you want to just use it on the sea day or you want to just check your emails like in the evenings, then it's fine. Funny, the internet started acting up during that question. I shouldn't move too much. Maybe that's what it is. But you're moving on the lamp, like you're vibrating a little bit. Oh, first cruise on Voyager and absolutely loved it. That's cool. I think it's a very easy cruise, a very easy first cruise. That's why I booked it. I'm on this cruise with my mum. I've banished her from the cabin for my live stream. But overall, that's a pretty good deal. I bring her on a week-long cruise and just kick her out the cabin for a couple of hours. But yeah, we just wanted an easy cruise. We wanted it to be just warm. We didn't want to think about anything. The flights were included, the transfers, great. That's it. That's all that we wanted from this cruise. But yeah, I've never taken a tall ship. No, I would consider it, I guess. It's not top of my to-do list. There's other places I'd rather go, but I would do it for sure. You should have your mum as a guest, get her back. I don't think that she wants to. So, she's a separate and free person. But yeah, how do you find your best last minute deals? If you go to my website, emmacruises.com, type in last minute deals. I very recently wrote a post that is maybe 7 tips for last minute deals. So if you check that out, past me knows more than current me. Current me has Marella on the brain because I'm on a Marella cruise. Is Marella adults only? No, they have at least one. I don't know if it's 2 now, adult only ships, but this ship is not adult only. There's kids on here. I will say the kids, though, have been very well behaved. They haven't really got in my way, which sounds weird, but like they haven't impacted on what I'm doing, if that makes sense. I do occasionally see big groups of like when they're taking the kids from kids club somewhere, then I'm like, oh yeah, there are loads of kids. But apart from that, there's the odd ones kind of in the theater and at dinner, but like they seem very well behaved. So yeah, I'm happy. There's not too many kids. Not too many kids. I took a P&O cruise that had over 900 children on it once. Yeah, it's not like that. Not like that. Do Marella do free transfers to the city when they dock? NCL do now, city transfers for a fee. They're not free. I did one today. It was £7. That's pretty standard. Normally, it's the more luxurious cruise lines. If you go on, a Viking cruise, a Saga cruise, then they'll include the transfers. But on regular cruises, then generally not. I don't. If it is, I'm pleasantly surprised. But normally, it costs money. Do you find it rowdy because all the drinks are included? No, not at all. I think because everyone has unlimited drinks for 7 days. So, like, what's the rush? Also, most of the included drinks are like cocktails that are mostly juice, beer, wine that I don't know anything about wine, but like people are just drinking throughout the day. That makes sense. So yeah, polite kids. Yeah, they're polite. I'm pleasantly surprised by how polite the kids are. But yeah, I mean, I'm not in the pub at midnight. I don't know if it's rowdy in there then, maybe. But for the normal kind of cruise that I go on, no one's being rowdy in the theatre or the dining rooms or anywhere that I am. If you do a 3-day themed cruise with Marella, it does get more rowdy. I've done 2 of those. Great fun. But yeah. Top tips for a relocation cruise in November. What to take with us in case we are seasick? So take seasickness medicine. Like, number 1, don't feel bad if you have to take the seasickness medicine. Take it. If they say the seas are going to get rough, and if you start seeing that they have sick bags out on the stairs, that's a good sign that it's going to get rough, and take your seasickness medicine. Okay, you can always not take it later, but take it before it gets rough. Because if you get seasick and then you try and get unseasick, that is really a lot harder. So book a cabin that's in the middle if you can. It makes a massive difference. I know I'm someone who I normally don't pick a cabin location. I put myself through some things that I don't need to. But if you can, book a cabin that's in the middle. Talking about earlier, I booked the cruise on here again. One reason I booked it on here is because you can pick the cabin. You don't have to pay to pick the cabin. You get it for free if you book on board. So that's one thing. In the middle and as far down as you can is kind of the key. I took a transatlantic cruise on Queen Mary 2. My parents had a cabin at the top, a balcony cabin right at the front. and I had an inside cabin right in the middle. And the difference, like my dad spent his time asleep in my cabin because the movement was so much less. Their cabin was like, oh, I've never been in anything like it. It was a lot. Never seen sick bags by the stairs. I make a note to film them every time because it's always something interesting to put in the videos. And it has been on this cruise. It has been on the Norwegian Star cruise that I took. It has been on Queen Mary 2, of course. I think it's been on every cruise that I've taken this year. But I've never seen anyone being sick ever on a cruise. I think people are worried that people are going to be throwing up everywhere. I've been on, I don't actually know the number of cruises, but I've never seen anyone be sick. So if someone's feeling seasick, they go back to their room. Okay. Yeah. I at the moment, there's a travel sickness medicine called Bonine. That's the one that works best for me. I've tried Quells. I've tried the patches. I've done the wristbands. I've got the wristband that electrocutes you. I've tried everything, but Bonine just seems to work the best. So yeah, it's so much easier to prevent feeling unwell. Once you have got unwell, best thing to do is go to sleep. That's it. Just eat. Don't drink too much. Don't eat too much. Yeah. Do you have to queue for the main dining room? And compared to P&O, how have you found the food, please? I think the actual quality of the food is pretty similar. I think there's more included options on here than on P&O. Yeah, I think they're pretty similar. I have never had to queue for the main dining room, and the only place that was busy was the pizza place, and the pizza place, it's just busy for dinner. So I just went for lunch instead, and there was no one there at lunch. So yeah. Fancy Voyager, but concerned about the age of the ship. I think if you have a look on YouTube at any of the videos from when Marella took over the ship, because they took over the ship in 2023, and it's not like they did everything to the ship. Like none of these spaces board in the pictures that I've shared were on the ship before when it was Celebrity. Like a lot of people were saying I don't recognize it at all. It's not like I went on an ambassador cruise just for the day, and I looked at the ship and I thought, oh, this is really nice. They've done this lounge really nicely. And then I came back and I looked online at what it was like before, and it was the same to the plant pot. Like they literally bought the plants, the chairs, they bought everything. That's not what Marella do. So the things that you're looking at are from 2003. The cabin's a bit different, of course. They can't. There's not all that much they can do with the cabin, you know. But it doesn't look old at all. So yeah. What was inside the chocolate mess looked interesting. So it was meringue and berries, kind of that kind of thing. Like, yeah, lots and lots of little meringues. It was really nice. It was good. Does the cruise have a dress code for dinner? So Marella are a very casual cruise line, very casual. So they have one day, which is like the if you want to dress up kind of day, and it has a smart dress code. And the smart dress code says that you have to wear smart trainers, which basically means like as long as your shoes aren't dirty and your shorts like they can't be like ripped or like really short. So if you're wearing like knee-length shorts and a pair of trainers, like that is acceptable for Marella's smart night, and then every other night is less smart than that. So yeah, it's a very, very casual cruise night. It's good. A lot of people are dressing up though. Like I have seen some amazing dresses, but you don't have to. What is the best deck for stability? As low down as possible, really. The lower you are, the more stable you are, as far as I can tell. I've had cabins on deck 1 before, which is cool. Adam says, are you an hour early today? Yeah, because we sail away at what would be 5 p.m. at home, and that would not be good. Like the internet would just be connecting to different things and it would not work. So I thought, I'm sat here for an hour, we can talk, and then I will sail away. Seconded Ori shower. What was the shower question? Shower curtain, yes or no? No shower curtain. Nuh-uh. And that's really nice on a ship. This ship is from 1997, which is pretty old for cruise ships. But yeah, no shower curtain. It doesn't look like there's ever been a shower curtain, which is good. So when Celebrity designed this ship, they just put in, it's like a full, you know, it's a very square bathroom with like toilet, sink, and then a square for the shower with like a full length thing. It's good. How does this trip compare to, say, Iona and Arvia? So this ship is half the size of Iona and Arvia. It includes a lot more because, you know, the drinks are included. That's not included on P&O. I would say there's more kids on Iona and Arvia than there is on here. Obviously, Iona and Arvia, they have like the big dome. They have like some big shows. Whereas on here, the shows on here are incredible because they have the like, what are they called? Like the headliners theatre team, and they do 12 shows in 14 days, which is unbelievable. I almost want to go up to them and say, do you know if you go on another cruise line, you might only have to do 1 or 2 shows a week. Whereas I really like the singing, the dancing, the costumes. I love that stuff. I love on here, on a lot of theatre shows, women get to wear sequins and colors and all this stuff, and the men just wear black skinny jeans. And I always look at them and I'm like, that's so sad that you have to wear just black skinny jeans and dance in skinny jeans. But on here, the costumes are so impressive. They're really cool. So if you're someone who likes the theater, who likes songs that you know, it's interesting for me because, you know, I don't realize that I'm missing things when I'm on an American cruise. But then I come on a British cruise and I'm like, oh, they're playing McFly. This is so nice. So yeah, I would say it's a much smaller ship. It's more inclusive. The people on here, you know, it's very similar to P&O. When not that I'm trying to listen into conversations, but sometimes if you're on a bus or something, it's hard not to listen. And most people say, oh, do you cruise? Yeah. Oh, we've done a P&O cruise. Oh, you like that? You know, similar kind of thing. P&O cruise mostly, well, from the UK a lot. Marella never cruised from the UK. So that's a big difference. If you want more, you know, general Marella versus P&O, I have an article I wrote about that, I think. Yeah. What do you do if your cruise ship leaves you, says Aaron? So you would come to the port, hopefully, depending on if you left your passport on board or you took it with you. If you left it on board, if you're lucky, your passport will be left at the port. You'll be able to pick it up. And then you're going to have to book a hotel, book a flight. You could try and get to the next cruise port, depending on where that is, or you could go home. And that would be up to you. Do certain cruise lines generally smell better indoors than others? It's a very distinctive smell. For me, if I go on a Norwegian cruise, that has a very distinctive smell. But I remember doing that as a kid, so it sort of takes me back to being a kid and a teenager. And then MSC have such a distinct smell that they sell the smell. So I have friends who have that smell in their house, and I'm like, it's like an MSC cruise ship in here. Or if I go on a cruise, I'm like, it's like their house. So that's kind of strange. Yeah, the theatre shows were brilliant. They're so good. I know a lot of people like different things in the theatre, so I'd never say that one way is better than the other. But I like musicals. I like songs. I like, you know, choreographed dancing and colours, and I like the stage to spin around, and I like there to be big screens, things just to keep me interested. I don't have any interest in the comedian. I don't want to see someone pretend to cut a rope in half and then put it back together again. I don't care about magic. I want to see singing and dancing every single day, so it works for me, but not everyone else. Are you going to try different cocktails like on your most recent NCL cruise? It's so rare for me to have a drinks package 2 cruises in a row, but I have tried some on it. Yeah, my favorite one is included, and I have the premium package. So sometimes I'm like, should try something else, but then also I know what I like. So yeah. Karen says, can you explain how the transfers work with Marella? Is it easy and straightforward? Yes. So if you're going on one in Europe, you go to the airport, you put your bags in the plane, get on the plane, pick up your bags, and then there'll be people that have Marella signs, you know, as if you're going out the airport and someone's going to meet you, Marella signs. They'll direct you to like someone else who's 10 meters away who has a different Marella sign, and then they'll direct you to someone else who has a different Marella sign, and then you'll go to a bus and it says TUI all over it, like a big TUI bus. Like you cannot miss this bus. And they literally, pretty much everyone on here has come from one of those planes. So they're just filling up the bus, coming, you get off, you show them your passport, and you get on. And I embarked in 6 minutes, which is incredible. Helped, of course, by the fact that people are coming on all these different flights. It's not like on most cruises, maybe 12, it'll open and then everyone wants to get on. Whereas here, we didn't get on till later. But then also our flight isn't till late. And we can just stay on the ship. Like there's people staying on the ship till 4 p.m. because their flight is late. On most cruises, you'll be kicked off at 9. It doesn't matter what time your flight is. So yeah. How do you feel about audience participation, hypnosis, hypnotists? I don't like it. I don't like anything like that. Terrible. But there's nothing like that. I haven't seen any participation at all that's been needed. So that suits me fine. Also, things like the trivia, it's so nice for me because they'll say, what London theatre? And I'm like, yes, have a chance at this. Whereas when I'm on the American cruises, who is like, on Broadway, I don't know. I've never gone to a Broadway show. I'm going to the West End. I have been nowhere near the fitness center. Sorry, can't tell you anything about that. Is it cheaper to book with a travel agent? It is for every cruise line apart from Marella. Pretty much. So yeah, if you go to my website, I have a page that says book a cruise, and then I have recommendations for who you book with. And for Marella, it just says click this link and it goes to Marella. So if you can do that, that'd be fantastic. It is, if you click on one of my links, I have them in the description as well. It just takes you to the Marella website. You get the same price. But if someone does book, in theory, I should get a little commission, which I spend a lot of money on Marella cruises, so it'd be kind of good to recoup some of that. So just if you're feeling, if you're gonna do it anyway, please click it. It'll be really nice. Was it cheaper to book another cruise on board, says Simon? So the price is the same. The base price is the same, but you get to pick your room, whereas normally that costs £75, I think. So, you know, £75 discount. You get to pick your room for free, and you get onboard credit, depending on what sort of cabin you have. What are the best cruise lines for internet speed and uptime? I guess the ones that have Starlink, but I've been on some cruise ships that have Starlink where the internet's not great, and some that don't, there's much better. So it's hard to know. I can't just say a certain cruise line because it depends where they are, depends if it's an old ship, depends if it's a new ship. So I'm sure someone must be tracking all this stuff, but it is a whole thing. Where is the included laundry on cruises? Do you need coins to pay? So a lot of cruise lines, there is no included laundry. There's no included laundry on here. There's just like a little bag and you fill out this form. That's the laundry form, if you can see it there. And then you pay and they do your laundry. On some cruise lines, they have self-laundry. Some of it's completely free on some cruise lines. Sometimes you can buy like the little washing thing to go in it. Just depends on the cruise line. Is there more space on Voyager than the bigger modern ships? I think so. I know it doesn't really make sense that this ship is, you know, half or a third of the size of the biggest cruise ships in the world, but I think the old cruise ships do space per person really well. Really well. Like, just for, I suppose it makes sense, because just for outside space, there's loads of just outside space. Whereas on the new ones, there's go-karts, there's water slides, there's all kind of things taking up space. So, yeah, I think so. Told you the captain would talk to us. Don't know if you can hear it. No. Oh. It's okay. It's far. Captain is far enough away. I think I can talk over him and you can still hear me. Ben says, for those wondering why Marella buses say TUI, the line was originally Thompson and TUI. It's a very complicated story. But generally speaking, we come on a TUI plane. It's a TUI bus. This is Marella, but it's still a TUI holiday. So, and the river cruises are still called TUI. So, but there is a TUI cruise line already, basically, which is not this. So, Marella. And I like Marella. I think it's cool. Most people call it Marcella or something else in my comments. It makes me laugh to see how many ways, you know, people can spell Marella, but I like it. Gary says, going on Marella Discovery later in the year, and I've heard they've taken the fridges out of the rooms. Is it true? Yes, for years. A couple of years now, they've not had any fridges in their rooms. If you see this cupboard, like, it has the lock on it, the minibar lock, where the fridge used to be, and there's no fridge in there. I quite like it because I never go near the fridge for my own stuff, and I don't really need to just look at food that I'm not going to buy for a week, or drinks. It just seems a bit strange. So on here, if you want to get stuff from the minibar, you just order on the app. I think that makes more sense. But hey, if you do need one, I think for medical reasons, you can request it pre-cruise. They'll get you on, but it will just sort of it will just sit somewhere in the room. It's a big room though. I don't know if it will do anything if I try and lift you up, but like, there is a lot of space here. Don't know if you can see it. My dad's in here and he says, can you start your question with questions so Emma can notice it in the general chat? Yes, I did notice this question. So I think that proves it nicely. Yeah. Yeah, Ben says iPhone wants to correct to Marbella. Exactly, Marbella, Marcella, like anything other than Marella. Never done Marella. Are they anything like Cunard? No, they are nothing. Like the only thing that is the same between Cunard and Marella is like they're physically on a ship and they go places to places. They are almost one end of the scale to the other, I think. Cunard is formal, it is traditional, it is afternoon tea. Marella is all inclusive, hardly any dress codes. Just colourful and fun, I think. I think if you took someone from a Marella cruise who loves it and put them on Cunard, I don't know what they would think. And same the other way. But when I take my next Marella cruise, I am taking someone who's a big fan of Cunard. So we'll see what they think. It'll be interesting. But yeah, two extremes. For me personally, I'm much more on the casual side. I much prefer the entertainment. It suits me much better on Marella. I like the all inclusive. I'm more on that side, I would say, for sure. Marella versus Carnival. That's tricky. That is really tricky. That's just like America versus UK. We have the cruise director talking now. Can you hear that, or is it just me? Hopefully, you can still hear me. Marella still has afternoon tea. Yeah, it does in the buffet. It's not the same as Cunard's afternoon tea, but on Marella they have things like sausage rolls, they have Scotch eggs, they have like very British things, which is cool. Max says, cruising to Norway in 2 weeks, how bad is the North Sea usually? It's been good sometimes when I've been there, and also I've had some rough times there. There has been quite a big storm there recently. One of my friends is on a Fred Olsen cruise, and I've been watching his ship. I've been going on Cruise Globe and seeing like, why are you going that way? Like, which is quite funny. If you're doing a cruise to Norway, if you're doing a week-long cruise to Norway, you're probably going to have one sea day, ports, and one sea day back. That's almost always fine. You're not going that far north. If you're doing one like I did, into the Arctic Circle, it can get rougher, but also it is summer. So you've given yourself the best chance. What is the best cruise line for solo travelers? I think generally it's accepted that Norwegian Cruise Line are kind of the best for solo travelers, with their solo lounges, with their solo cabins that are like really tiny inside cabins. Marella, they don't really have solo cabins because these ships are kind of old. So they didn't care about solos so much in the 90s. Is there a kettle in the cabin? Of course there is, Karen. There's one right here. Love that about British cruise lines. Tea bags, mugs. This comes out, make a little table. Amazing. Yes. Adam says, what is the Cruise Globe? What a fantastic question. So the Cruise Globe is a website that I, with my co-founders, have created where you can add all of your cruises on it, and it will show you the routes that your cruises took on a globe. So you'll see kind of the stats, how many cruise lines you've been on, which countries you've been to most, and you can replay your cruises. There's like an animation feature on there, so you can see like a loop-de-loop or any detours or anything like that. We are adding future cruises as well, loads of extra things, but it's the website, thecruiseglobe.com, completely free to use. Hope you like it, because it's my pride and joy in life. Are you saying you can't compare Marella to any of the US cruise lines? I mean, US cruise lines, they add on gratuities. Marella doesn't. Marella has Brits on it. The other cruise lines have less Brits on them. Here, the entertainment is aimed at Brits. The trivia is aimed at Brits. American cruise lines, it's aimed at Americans. People participate more in game shows. It's kind of expected that you'll participate. And on here, it's expected that you won't participate unless you opt in. This is more of a big culture kind of question. But on the face of it, Marella includes loads, and the American cruise lines, there's a fare. If you're in America, you might have to pay, you might see that you're paying the taxes, and then it's all split out more, if that makes sense. Have your towel animals all been as clever as the one behind you and the adorable sloth? Yes, pretty much. We've had towel animals every single day, and normally First Mate Rolo is involved in some way in the towel animals, which is cute. Super cute. Bill says, I'm jealous at the variety of cruise lines available to you. I am grateful for it. Like, don't think that I take it for granted. I'm so grateful that, it's a 2-hour flight for me to start a cruise like this, which is just amazing. Like, it's so good. I'm very grateful for it. And yeah, we have pretty much every big American cruise line also in Europe. And then we have our British ones, then we have Greek ones, we have Italian ones, loads of cruise lines. Is there an app for the cruise globe? If you're watching this right now, as in when I'm actually on this cruise on the 8th of August, then no. If you're watching this in maybe a month's time, then yes. So depends when you're watching this. Right now, no, we're working on it very soon, though. Very, very soon. I don't think I can say a specific date because I'm not the person who's actually doing that work, and it would be kind of mean for me to lock them into a date. But very soon. Very, very soon. Is disembarking in Barcelona pretty easy, or should I expect a long line to get through customs when I disembark on a Sunday in September? I've always walked straight off in Barcelona. Barcelona is my favorite port to embark. It's so easy. It's not far, from the airport, and there's so many different terminals in Barcelona. So there's loads. I've never had anything other than just walking off in Barcelona. Did you enjoy the summer house bar, and did they have the open roof? I have not seen the roof open. Does it still open? Because I've been on so many cruise ships where it has the opening roof and it doesn't open. I'm guessing that was a pool, right? Because it's not a pool anymore, it's a bar. It's really nice. I have been watching, because this ship was launched as Celebrity Mercury, so I have been watching the original 1990s promotional videos for that cruise, which is really quite funny. Quite funny. Francisco says, besides YouTube income, how can you cruise all over? So if you want to go to my website, if you type in income, then I break down how I make all of the money that I do. Appreciate my business is really, really strange. I've come from a normal 9-to-5 office job, and I sort of built up a business on the side, like a little hobby. And then after I'd done that for 5-6 years, I made the leap. I left that job, and now I work for myself. So a lot of my work, of course, is being co-founder, that was hard to say, being the co-founder of Cruise Maps and Cruise Globe, and then obviously I have Emma Cruises as well, but there's loads of different things going on. Is there a destination that you would like to do next? I mean, there's many destinations that I'd like to do next. Yes, I'd like to do a river cruise soon. I think that would be nice. I've not done one in a long time. Like, if we're thinking sensibly, like what I'd like to do, I'd like to do that. I'm also staying in a cabin that I've never stayed in before soon, which you are going to love, based on the fact you love inside cabins. So, yeah. I don't have a question, but I worked on NCL for 4 years. Want to thank you for your amazing content. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for watching it. I sometimes meet crew members who say that they watch my videos to prepare, to find out what the ship is like before they go on there. And that's really nice. I hope my worst nightmare is to be ever seen as any sort of in a restaurant, if a food critic comes in and someone's like, oh God, that's my worst nightmare. I want people to know that, I'm having a good time. I'm happy, right? I'm almost always happy, unless something is dangerous or dirty, then I'm not. But I don't want anyone to think feel awkward around me. I feel more awkward. I'm more scared of you than you are of me. That makes sense. Yes, it was. It opens in May. Oh, interesting. That is good to know. I'm glad. I'm surprised it's not open on this cruise then, because it has been sunshine all day, every single day. It's been really hot. Maybe that's why though. Maybe it's too hot. I'm surprised they got rid of the pool there though, because there's two main pools on the top deck, and I've been swimming on this cruise, and we went sort of in the morning when everyone else got off, and I had a swimming pool to myself, which was really nice. It is busy in the middle of the day though, because it's really nice, and this is really good weather because almost everyone on here is from the UK. We are not used to this. It's been 30, 35. I saw a sign today that said 38 degrees. Really hot. So yeah, everyone wants to be in the pool. Oh, Francisco says I started cruising because of you. My goodness, pressure. I always when I meet people on here, obviously the first question I want to ask them is, how's your cruise going? Are you having a good time? Everyone has said yes, thankfully, but yeah. How did your homemade pizza turn out last Friday? It didn't turn out great because it just didn't. It wasn't worth the effort. The pizza on here is better. There is a pizza place on here. It's like snack size for lunch. So it's like this big, and they have the pizza dough thing. That's really good. Would you recommend TUI river cruises for first-time cruisers? Prefer to look at Viking, but may compromise for budget reasons. Yeah, I mean, it is that. It is not Viking, but it is also half the price or less of a Viking cruise, right? So the difference, I think, on a Viking cruise is it includes excursions, it includes drinks, I think all the time. Maybe don't quote me on that, but it includes more drinks than it does on TUI. TUI just includes sort of your basic drinks with meal times like soda, beer, wine. It doesn't include excursions. They're very cheap, but it doesn't include them. And the cabins and the ship is just more basic. You know, they're not getting these really expensive pieces of artwork like they probably have on the Viking cruises. But I think it's an option for a first time cruise or a first time river cruise, because you will get, you know, almost the entire experience, and you get the important parts of a river cruise. You're going to find out if you like a river cruise or not. Do you want to sit on the top deck and watch yourself sailing around a river? I do. I do. I'd love to do a Viking river cruise though as well. Marella are a very port intensive cruise, I think. Does the ship empty out during the day, or do the Brits stay on board to get their money's worth? Scott, I think it depends on the port, because we've had some big ports on here, you know, like Barcelona. We're in Valencia today, but we've been to some places where it is a port for another place. Like we went to the port that was for Monaco and for Nice, and I've been to Monaco and Nice before, so we stayed sort of in the local area and then came back sooner than I think a lot of other people do. So I would say it's a mix. I think it does depend on the port and how, you know, how easy it is to get to the place. And some places we've had like a shuttle bus or shuttle boat. We had a shuttle boat. I've never had a shuttle boat before. Let me know if you ever had that, like a free boat ride. That's how I see it anyway. Free boat ride. That is not Hudson behind you. No, it is not. It is First Mate Rolo. I normally take whatever the latest is in the series, and yeah, yep. Tom says, why is booking a Marella cruise difficult for Americans compared to the US base? I don't know the why. I know that it didn't used to be difficult, and I know that pretty much the website just blocks it now. So me and I work with a travel agency that's in Texas. Dan, he's fantastic. He spent a lot of time, I don't know how many months we've spent making it so that he can book Marella cruises for you, for anyone. So if you do want to book a Marella cruise and you're in the US, just fill in the form on my website, the Book a Cruise page, and we have done that. It has worked beautifully, and yeah, I think good fun personally. I'm on Marella Voyager. Yes. Oh yeah, Viking requires payment pretty much as soon as you book, no matter how far away the cruise. Yeah, I've heard about that. I had friends who booked Viking, and their cruise was 2 years in advance. They had to pay like really quickly. Most cruise lines, you pay a deposit, and then you normally pay sort of 6 months before, 3 months before, maybe you pay the balance. But up until that point, yeah. Tony says, booked my Marella cruise from the US via the website. I wish, Tony, that worked for everyone. It does not work for the majority of people. Every time I send my newsletter, like I sent my newsletter out today, I get replies and it just says this page cannot be viewed. Like it is blocked. You cannot get to it. So maybe you have a VPN. I don't know. But generally speaking, yeah, I can't even see prices on P&O. Yeah, it's strange. It is what it is though. So I have a way. I have a way. Leo says, just got off Carnival Adventure, rebranded from P&O. You had to pay extra for pizza and ice cream. Which cruise lines have you found that don't include complimentary pizza and ice cream? The only cruise line I've ever found that doesn't include pizza, or it didn't include pizza, I think it does now, was Costa. Costa, the Italian cruise line, which is interesting. But I've done 2 Costa cruises, one on Costa Luminosa quite a long time ago, and then one on Smeralda, which is much newer. And on Smeralda, they definitely had in the buffet every single day, they had pizzas that were like this big. They were really good, but it wasn't like a full pizza that you could get. That's the only one I can think of. But then also, that Costa cruise, like the price of it, I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was like 30-something pounds a day. It was crazy. John says, did she already talk about the what a mess dessert? So this is the picture that I shared today. I had to share it. It's actually still shots of the video that I took, so you can see the full video. And like, I didn't expect it to do that. But I went to a dining room yesterday. It was a specialty restaurant. It's quite rare for me to do specialty restaurants on a cruise, but I wanted to do it for a few reasons. One, it said that it was elevated British dining, and I was like, what on earth is that? And I saw the menu, and it had like sausage rolls, Scotch egg, you know, beef Wellington, ham, egg, and chips, Arctic roll. I was like, how can you elevate an Arctic roll? But yeah, I wanted to go, so we went. It was £40 each. I don't think that's too bad. On some other cruise lines, it can cost double that. So we went, and I ordered the what a mess dessert because I thought that sounded funny. It said serve tableside, which means that something is going to happen. It's good for a YouTube video, right? And it came out, and it was this ball of chocolate on like a little stand, and the waiter told me to pick it up and then drop it, and it would make a mess. Everyone was looking at me, the table behind, the table to the other side. I didn't want it to not break. So I kind of loved it down more than I had to. And it did make a mess. It went all over the chair. It went all over the wall. It didn't go on me, which I'm surprised about. But yeah, hope I'm kidding, but I hope that they won't send me a bill for washing the chair, because that would be kind of terrible. But it was good. It was like a chocolate thing with berries and meringue. It was a lot of food that we had that day, so it was quite light, I suppose, berries and meringue, and the chocolate was good. It makes me think, though, how many of those chocolate domes do they have to make them, and think how many you're going to order, because you can't run out. I've never really known cruise ships to run out of anything, really. So they must have loads. I don't know. At the end of the day, they just hand out these chocolate puddings. Paul and Carol, nice to see you. Late to the party, just got in. We'll catch up, as Marella are one of our favourites. Yes, you guys did the older Marella ships before I even had the idea of coming on a Marella cruise. It was really interesting to see. But yeah, this is my favourite ship for sure, I think, in the Marella fleet. I don't even know why. It flows nicely. I know where I'm going. I really like the theatre. It's the theatre where, they have tables. When you walk in, you just pick up a drink. That's it. There's none of this, like, this is how many drinks you can have. You don't even scan your cruise card for the included drinks. As many as you want, just pick them up. That's it. But they have tables, so everyone can get in and out of every single row. If someone in the middle wants to leave halfway through, it's not like everyone has to stand up. If you want to go to the toilet, you can just walk out. I think that's great. I wish every theatre was like that. So you can film as well. I really like being able to film. I will say though, British people don't film very much, like in the theatre. Sometimes if I'm on a cruise and it's a real mix, especially, I don't know if it's Italian people, but Italian people seem to film everything on the MSC cruises. Like, they'll film the full theatre show on MSC. But on here, I'm pretty much the only person filming the shows. But I only do a few seconds at a time. I don't want to get in anyone's way. I always sit at the back. Any feedback from Norwegian on your latest video on your channel? I'm hoping they send you to Australia. I haven't caught up with Norwegian yet, really. I've seen the video on their channel. It seems to be doing really well. And I'm trying to reply to the comments on there. There's so many. But I promise those ones, like, it really makes such a difference when people say, Emma sent me to watch this video. So I try and reply to every single one. But I think it's doing pretty well, I would like to go to Australia. I don't know if it would be something I would do as a cruise. I think if I want to go to Australia, I want to really go to Australia and take a lot of time in Australia. And I'm not in a position, with Cruise Maps and Cruise Globe and business, I can't just leave for like a month and, the dog and the cat. So I think it will be a thing like for the further off future, I think, because I really want to go for a long time. It's a very long way away, Australia. But yeah. I'm sorry, I have no idea about the fitness center. I get asked this every time. Maybe I should go in there just to see, but I never go near the fitness center on my cruises. I mean, the stairs on here are enough. This is a pretty small cruise ship, and even still, the buffet is on 11, so you can still walk up 11 flights of stairs if you want. That's my fitness done. That's it. Are we going to meet your mum? I doubt it very much. I don't think so. I started an Emma Cruises thing, not Emma Cruises and whoever else Emma drags in. They don't want to be dragged in. So yeah, my goodness, we have only got 10 minutes left in this live stream. So if you do have any quick questions, if you can get them in, I will try and answer them as fast as I can. David says, what is your favorite alcoholic beverage? Some sort of cocktail that doesn't taste like an alcoholic beverage, or a nice cider, like a fruity cider. That would be kind of nice. But yes. Has it been too hot in the med, says Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Nice to see you. For me and my mum on this cruise, our plan was not to, get off and go and do full tours in every single place and see everything. So it's been pretty chilled. If we get too hot, we just We just won't walk around as much as we normally would, so it's been fine. It is hot though. It is. For me, it is hot. You're not alone about not knowing if there's a fitness center. I'm sure there is one. I think it's near the spa, right? But I never go near the spa either. Hoping to get invited on a press cruise for the new Four Seasons luxury cruise ship. That sounds great. If anyone works for the Four Seasons luxury cruise ship, I would love that. Yeah. Recommendations for a first cruise or one of your videos to watch and decide. So I am working on a video at the moment, which is going to be like an hour and a half long, which is going to answer this exact question. So it's going to be everything. I do at the moment have an email series on my website. If you go to emmacruises.com/inside guide, that is my email course that is literally, here are the cruise lines, here's where they go, this is the peak time for these places, this is when you should book, this is how you should book, this is what cabins you should book, this is what the drinks packages are, this is how the food works, this is if you're going to get seasick, this is what you do in port, this is how you disembark a cruise, this is how you get on a cruise, everything in emails. And I have videos that cover every single part, but I haven't got one that covers everything. Oh, the email series is super helpful. Thank you very much. It was a lot of work, so I'm glad that you find it helpful. It does have all my videos in there. You know, if I'm talking about something, then I'll put in a video for an example of an inside cabin and an ocean view and things. But I am going to have that mammoth film, yeah, Emma Cruises the movie, coming out soon. So, yeah, goodness. Did you get into the exchange, says Paul and Carol? I got into the exchange. So the exchange is kind of like a secret bar on here, right? But I just wandered in. Like I just found the door and it had a sign, so I just went in. So I haven't booked the event in there, but I have been in there. Not my kind of thing when it says on the thing, interactive singer, like not my kind of thing. But I've been in there, so I know what it's about. And I'll let you guys, I know you did it and you liked it, so I'll let you keep that one. That would be a lot of Emma Cruises for the fans. Yeah, it will be a lot. It is a lot. But I think it'll be worth it. It would be nice to have one video that I can send people to, and then it can send you out to different things. You know, if you're considering a med cruise, here's a med cruise. Are you considering Alaska? Then here is Alaska. I think obviously I love YouTube is fantastic, but it's not always easy to find, has Emma done this on YouTube? So everything is on my website. If you search on my website, you're far more likely to find, you know, search Alaska, you'll find different tips I've done and different places I've been and excursions I've been on and packing lists and all that kind of stuff. Oh, Rich says, on my recent NCL cruise, my card said VIP. I was in a suite and I'm platinum, but I've been both before and not had that. Is this a new thing, or did some staff never help me out? I've never had that, Rich. Never, ever. And you know, I've been working to create content for Norwegian's YouTube channel. So on those cruises, like they know that I'm there. And I've never been a VIP on my card. So I don't know. I have no idea. I think something, yeah, someone just liked you, Rich, which is good. How does embarkation compare to going through an airport when boarding? So it's like a really cut down, I would say less strict version than going through an airport. So you normally come in, you'll have some sort of check-in, you know, this is my passport, here is my booking. They will, if you haven't already, take a picture of you, they'll attach your credit card to your account, then you'll go through security. It's like an airport, it's the same scanners, it's the same machines. I think it's less strict, like you could, if you accidentally had your sunglasses on your head, like no one's going to shout at you normally. Versus an airport, they might, and they're mostly checking for, you know, anything that's dangerous. Or every cruise line has different rules on what you can bring on board. Like on some you can bring soda, some you can bring a liter of spirit, some you can't on the embarkation port, you can't in the other ports, some you can bring in whatever you want on anyone, you know. So they're kind of checking for that kind of stuff. But mostly they're checking that you don't have any prohibited items, you haven't got like an iron or a firework or anything like that. David says, how about giving Emma a thumbs up? That would be lovely. I think this has worked pretty well, actually. I think it's been worth you being zoomed into me just so that we have like steady internet. Yes. Oh, first time catching you live. I'm in Massachusetts. Very nice. Very nice. I can't spell that. I can't spell that. Love from Canada, amazing. I'd love to come back to Canada again soon. It's been quite a long time since I've been in Canada, but I love it. It's strange being in Canada because there's some things that you do the same way as us. Sometimes my Britishisms, everyone who's from Canada will agree, but sometimes you do things the other way. But some things, like when I was last in Canada, the pedestrian crossings, like the buttons and the lights, are exactly the same as in the UK. So it's so weird. No question, just stopping by to say hi. Well, thank you very much. So to summarize for anyone who's just got here, I'm on board Marella Voyager, which was Celebrity Mercury, built in 1997. She's an adorable cruise ship. It's an all-inclusive cruise, and I'm here with my mum. We just wanted to have a relaxing week. So I'm, of course, going to be doing a review of this cabin. This is an Oceanview cabin. I think it's been pretty nice. It definitely feels more spacious having twin beds versus having a double, because, you know, it covers up the floor, so that's good. But this does sleep four. But I think it's a pretty, you know, I've liked it. Obviously, I'd like a balcony, but it was like £530 extra for a balcony. Not worth it. Is it humid outside? Yes, but I can't open the window in the Oceanview, so I can't really tell. Looking forward to your post about this trip. Thank you very much. Yes, I've got loads to say because I've tried so many random things on this cruise, like that specialty restaurant that I tried. Don't see an ocean view, must be looking the wrong way. Yeah, you're in the window. My phone is propped up, so I'm trying to get the best signal. But also, there's not really, it's not a nice view particularly. It's mostly shipping containers, so you're going to stay there. Hopefully that's all right. How do you rate the value for money on this cruise? Pretty good, I think. I mean, obviously, I am here in the height of summer, so it is the most expensive that it's ever going to be. So my cruise fare was $1,558, I think, for 7 nights, which is obviously more than the £100 per night budget cruise thing that I kind of like. But normally, that price doesn't include the flights. It doesn't include transfers. It is just the cruise. Whereas this one includes a drinks package that, you know, I would never normally pay for. And the only extra things I paid for are some shuttle buses and cookies, because they have some really nice cookies in the coffee port. So, yeah, I think so. You can do this same cruise, though, if you would do it in, you know, November, February. You can do it for pretty much £1,000. Which I think, you know, is not bad because flights pretty expensive. Emma is an independent woman. I don't know what the question is to this, but thank you. Emma is an independent woman. Yeah, cruises are very Moorish. The first cruise video should come with a warning, perhaps. I'm glad you think of it that way, though, because the kind of cruise videos I see that are always trying to be pushed to me are always like AI Icon of the Seas crashing into MSC Meraviglia or something. That's just terrible. I don't want to watch that. It just keeps coming up. Eric says, I live in Portugal. Can I sail on Marella? The website is geared for people that live in the UK. Yeah, anyone can cruise with Marella. Like, you're all allowed to cruise with Marella. The website doesn't make it easy for anyone outside the UK. So generally speaking, I'd say if you're in the UK, click the link that I have in the description. If you're not in the UK, get in contact with my team. Just pretend you're from America for the form, and then get in contact with the team who can book it for anyone. So yeah. Oh, we get to watch this video of our favorite cruise vlogger while she is cruising. Yes, going to be actually cruising very soon. Like in 2 minutes, we're going to sail away. So hopefully this is good timing. Yes. Marella Voyager in Valencia. Valencia, yes. I have a fear of boats, but I want to go on my first cruise. What would you suggest? And do they have aircon in the cabins? Yeah, they have aircon in the cabins. I will say the newer the cruise ship, the better the air conditioning. Like in here, the air conditioning is fine. It's fine. It's not like as cold as it is around the rest of the ship, but it's also not like overwhelmingly hot. It's just fine. But this ship's from 1997. If you go on a cruise ship that is 20 or less years old, the air conditioning is going to be better. It's hard to know how to sort of test a cruise without going on a cruise, because you could book a short cruise, like a 2-day cruise. You can even book 1-day cruises. You can do 1-day MSC cruise. You can do a 1-day ambassador cruise. Some cruise lines sometimes even have like dinners. I think like Ambassador do that. Fred Olsen, maybe one of the British cruise lines. You could try something like that, but you're kind of just going to have to jump in, because there's really no other way to do it. They don't really do like the taster lunches or anything that they used to do. So yeah, you just sort of have to jump in, not to the sea, to the cruise. You don't have to pay to get out of Valencia. No. Adam says, I have a fear of dogs and want to get a dog. What should I do? I mean, I love having a dog. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, Andrew's in here. Nice to see you, Andrew. Says, I thought I'd show my face to say hi. You may not. Yeah. You may know me as my Andrew. Yeah. Okay, so that is the hour. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on this live stream. This has been very nice to catch up. This has been a really sort of nice, relaxing cruise for me. This is kind of what, I don't know, what the point of cruising is, like sunshine, sailing, going to nice places, eating a lot. So yeah, it'll be a little while until this content comes out. I have some other stuff to do first, but yes. No, you never read my comment. I just read your comment. Just read it right. But yeah, I'll be live next week at the normal time. So we'll be back to the normal time. I'll be back at home, 5 p.m. UK, 12 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I will talk to you then. All right, bye.